A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Once when Jesus was praying alone, with only his disciples near him, he asked them, "Who do the crowds say I am?" They answered, "John the Baptist, but others Elijah, and still others one of the ancient prophets that had arisen." He said to them, "But who do you say I am?" Peter answered, "The Messiah of God." He sternly ordered and commanded them not to tell anybody, saying, "The Son of Man must undergo a great suffering and be rejected by the elders, chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed on the third day, and then risen." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Hi there, I'm Deacon Steve, and today we're just going to share a few thoughts on that really famous gospel in Luke about where Jesus asks the disciples who that they think he is. And more importantly, that response that Simon Peter gives of, "You are the Christ, the Messiah." Now there's so much in this gospel that we can unpack, but for now I thought we would just see how this fits into who we are, our identity in Jesus, and our understanding of our salvation and the mission that we are on to bring Jesus into the lives of others, and the importance of us understanding who Jesus is in that context. Yesterday I was having a bit of a conversation with my wife, and we were talking about COVID, and I must admit I was moaning a little bit. Why so long? How much money is this costing us? And as for those who are running the border, well, somebody should throw the book at them, that type of thing. And my beautiful wife was very quick to say, "Honey, let's look at the bigger picture here. Let's think about what's going on in the lives of people, and perhaps the lives of our Parliament, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, her government, and the mission that they're on to, in one way or another, alleviate or stamp out COVID in our life." And we started to discuss the fact that, perhaps the gospel and what our government are doing to help us in best heart are probably quite similar. There are two things, I guess, that come into clear perspective for me anyway. Two things that are going on. And one, Jesus is asking from his disciples what the world is thinking. And what he gets, interestingly enough, are thinking answers, are a worldview answer, are a perspective on what is going on out there from his disciples. He gets told, well, some think that you're Elijah, perhaps other Moses. Others think, one of the prophets come back to life. And in that sense, Jesus has to find out whether or not his disciples are on the same page as he is. And so he then asks the question, "Who do you say that I am?" And I guess, like me, there was probably a little bit of a sheepish silence there before someone, and perhaps the scrappiest person of them, Peter, said, "You are the Christ, the Messiah." Now this just didn't come out of a worldview. This came out of his heart. This came out of a sure knowledge that he knew he was in the right place with the right man, in the right mission. And I wonder if in her heart, Jacinda Ardern says, are my people in the right place with the right heart for this mission? Because whether they say so or not, I must, as the leader of Parliament, carry on this mission. And I wonder if Jesus was sort of thinking that same sort of way. I have to complete this anyway, because it's my Father's will. At the same time, Jesus is asking those two questions of us. He's saying, "Stephen, who do the people around you say that I am?" And I get a little down, and I get a bit like my moan to my wife a little bit earlier about COVID yesterday. I get down a bit about what I see as nobody really caring. And then he says to me, Stephen, who do you think I am? And every day I have to make that decision. You are the Christ, you are the Messiah. I'm going to be with you as best as I can be through the sacrifice, until in the end, the glory comes. But for Jesus, it's all the more important because there's death involved, and then there's resurrection, and then there's the building of the burgeoning church. It's interesting that the question that asked that Peter answered, in the end, that resolve saw them through to martyrdom. A point that always sits in my heart. The resolve of their answer saw them through to martyrdom. There's probably a couple of things that we could do this week that might challenge us a little bit to change our mindset, and to think a little bit more about what Jesus is asking us to do today. Firstly, unlike myself, let's not be too quick to jump in a conversation that is not demeaning, but pulling down. Let's always think about the bigger picture. Let's look at what the heart is saying versus what the head is saying. Secondly, let's not let what the world thinks impact what we do in mission and what we are doing as Christians, as church, as Catholic. So when we end up listening to the news, hearing about COVID and hearing all of the doom and gloom, let's pick up this gospel once again and say, what is Jesus asking me and how should I respond?